Greetings.
Why don't we get started with Joey?
Hello, everybody. I am playing Connor Leone, the very confused car mechanic.
And Terry?
I am Terry. I play as James. I am the medic, the guy who knows everything about like history, at least in certain areas. Just a nerd. Just James the nerd. That's all.
And Fry.
I'm playing Birdie, and I'm just the sweetest, innocent, most harmless little thing. You don't gotta worry about nothing.
So
Oh, there's
at
a
that
gun in your
point,
hand?
Connor's given the get out stare.
When we left off last week, you had continued your investigations and had an introduction to an indeterminately old man who, when you entered his hut, looked like a corpse. You had to wait for many hours before he appeared to reanimate. You saw him start breathing again. It looked like life re-entered his body. And he greeted all of you with some words about your lives.
Was very startled by that.
And he has been introduced to you as Bandari.
What was that you just said about my father?
It's for another time. Your mission is perilous and the time is desperate. Should I tell you pleasant things or should I tell you the truth?
I think we'd appreciate the truth.
rather take the truth.
The bloody tongue grows arrogant. People across the land disappear into the mountain, stolen by the cult for the sacrifice to come. Leaders are brought low by corrupt thoughts and deeds. Many of us must pray continuously to Nagai, the Lord of Kanyaga, to stave off this evil. You have journeyed far, you've made many investigations. What do you still need to know?
Well, I suppose the most important question from my perspective at the moment is, and I'm just gonna look over at James. Are James's parents really still alive?
Their bodies, yes. Your mother hangs by a thread. I don't think she can survive what is to come. Your father, I fear, is lost.
Kind of feared that was gonna be the case.
I'm afraid it's not only your parents. satisfy their god, the cult is abducting villagers to sacrifice. After this sacrifice, the god will appear in his glory, attended by creatures not of this earth. He is as tall as the mountain. He has no face. He has a blood-red tongue hanging down where the top of his head should be. The sight of him will drive men mad. His priestess is Mueru. She lives in the mountain, and it was she who prophesied the coming of a child of the god, a part-human monster.
I'm sorry. Part human, part one of those things?
It is not the first child of a god.
I guess there's no
It
account for
probably won't
days.
be the last.
Connor, you were approached by someone. I'm assuming we can't trust her at all. But is it better to be allied with her? Do you know who we're talking about?
I have not seen this. Who approached you?
What was her name again?
Natokris.
The
It
So
was
the queen in
The Dark Queen. Or so she was called.
I don't know this name. Is she powerful? Is she powerful? What is she?
Egyptian, I believe to be a god. I'm not so knowledgeable in this field, but I was there whenever she was brought back to this world.
It's possible. I don't know Egyptian gods.
She's
Alright.
offering a deal to find what's troubling this land and to get rid of it while she gives us some protection. But it's hard trusting something that much greater than you.
Yes. I will say that you need protection. You should consider what she demands of you as a price and whether it's worth the benefit. But you need allies and you need protection.
All right.
It was the cult of the Bloody Tongue that massacred a part of the expedition, but the principals were spared. They summoned unnatural beasts from the other side to kill and carry off the victims. Those who were carried away were taken to the Mountain of the Black Wind.
All right.
I figured.
How do we stop it?
There are ancient tales of a great sign, the Eye of Light and Darkness, which could chain the god within the mountain. No one knows what the sign might be, but some I've spoken to say that the sign existed until a few years ago, when a god tricked men into destroying it. If it could be found, perhaps it could
be?
chain the god again.
Could it be the other fragment of the thing from the top of the pyramid?
You know of this?
Looking at James with that one.
I'm gonna go and pull out the notebook I always carry on me and go and show like part of the symbol and say, would it look like this in a way?
He looks it over, he puts his hand on the page, and Birdie, you get the sense that he's doing something very similar to what you do. He's reading the history of this page and the people who've touched it.
Okay.
And he comes away with a grin. He says, "Yes. Yes, where did you find this?"
In Egypt, before coming here.
This knowledge has spread far. I have spoken to a mystic and scribe in the Far East who wrote 7 books of forbidden knowledge. A mystic Hassan who knew of the ward and captured its magic within one of his 7 books.
What would the books be called?
The 7 cryptical books of Hassan.
Ah.
This is he has not heard of the concept of naming books.
All right. If I may, we do know. I don't necessarily know what it means, but we do know the spell to inscribe on this as well. I looked back on it much as I believe you just did right then.
Will you share a vision with me?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? You've got some weird, like, static going on in the background of your...
That is probably the air conditioner. Let me take care of that.
Like, it doesn't look like it's coming through specifically on your microphone. It's just weird feedback.
Okay, how's that?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Guess it was the AC.
Will you share a vision with me?
I'd be delighted. I should warn you,
Mhm.
the last time that I did this, someone very unpleasant decided they were going to use me as a mouthpiece.
Oh yes, it's extremely dangerous. You must be very careful. I have been doing this for a long time, though, and I can show you caution.
All right.
He reaches down, and his bony arms, he touches the ground with his knuckles, and he lifts his body and shifts himself to the side to make room for you on the rug.
Okay. I'll get up, glance at the other two again, and sit next to him.
How good are you at sitting cross-legged?
I don't think she's terribly good at it. It's also terribly improper. She is wearing a skirt.
It is improper.
So she's just going to fold her legs up underneath her and sit that way.
Okay. He is going to extend his hand to you,
I'll take it.
And then he's going to begin breathing in a strange pattern. It's as though he's trying to hyperventilate. He's taking deep, rapid breaths.
Interesting. I'll try to copy him.
Okay. You feel yourself getting a little bit lightheaded. And you feel your consciousness starting to slip. And would you please make a psychometry check?
It'd be funny if this is the time that I roll a critical failure.
It would also be funny if he fails. It's not a critical failure.
Not quite critical failure.
All right. So you are going to sit there watching as he slips into a trance. You see, all of a sudden, he stops breathing in that weird pattern, and his body slumps backwards, but Okomu has set up pillows behind him to catch him. And it's up to you whether you want to try harder and push this roll, or if you want to let him go alone.
I'm absolutely gonna try and push it.
All right.
I'm going to... Let's see, how am I gonna push this?
You are feeling in this room, you're feeling as though you're already somewhat disconnected from the time that you know you exist in. And you're not sure where you're going to end up if you can't focus well enough to take yourself where you want to go.
I'm just going to take a moment. I'm going to shift and make myself a little bit more comfortable, and I'm going to think of my grandmother and how she originally taught me how to do this kind of thing.
Okay.
And that's how I'm going to push this roll. If I can push it. Doesn't look like it wants to let me.
Well, you can just roll again.
Ah, okay.
We know that you're pushing it is all. Okay.
There we go.
With that, you find yourself slipping away. The rest of you, the others in the room, Birdie does something she hasn't done before, just as Bandari did. At the height of her hyperventilation, she suddenly stops breathing and collapses. Birdie, after a moment, you feel yourself slipping, as though you're sliding down a drain. And then you feel a hand on your arm, and you see Bandari standing next to you. You recognize something in him, but the face you're looking at is that of a middle-aged Egyptian man.
Does he look familiar at all?
No. Only there's something in the eyes and something you're seeing beyond the flesh that tells you this is Bandari.
Okay.
If you look
Also,
down,
I think Joey was trying to say something.
Don't worry
saw
about it.
him
I was.
unmute.
Connor puts a hand on his gun. So I was just say like, hey, I was just casually like, yep, something's about to get shot.
I'm going to shoot everything in this room until she comes back to life.
Yep.
Let me know if you do start shooting.
Absolutely.
Looking down at yourself, Birdie, you are not wearing your normal clothing. You or your skin is darker than you're used to it being,
Mm-hmm.
and you're wearing surprisingly little clothing.
Oh my!
Mhm.
She's just gonna look over herself and shift uncomfortably.
He tells you, this is a difficult thing you've done. If you want to see all there is to see, if you want to go to the other sides, you must learn to make other bodies for yourself.
Make other bodies.
If you want to be present and have an effect in the world, yes.
We can do that?
We just did. This is temporary. If you want to visit a place many times, you will need people like Okomo in each place. Because you can only be in one body at a time.
So, are we just passengers in these, or
No, we are here.
what?
And he kind of holds his hand out for you to look around, and you realize that you're in a large, looks like sandstone room. A room built out of sandstone with pillars of obsidian. And you can see somebody in what would be impressive ancient Egyptian garb standing at an altar and chiseling at a piece of stone as he sings.
I take it that is familiar.
Yes. This is
Alright.
this is not the weird bird's eye view that you normally have of these things. You are here.
Birdie's just gonna shake out her hands and take a couple of quick breaths as like anxiety starts kicking in, and just shakes her head. All right. That's the song that I heard when I looked back before.
Yeah, you hear him. He's chanting sa ma te yo sa ma.
All right.
And Vandari walks over to him.
I'll follow, but a little bit more hesitantly. This is I am in the wrong class.
He tells you, you must be bold. You must be cautious, but you must still be bold. He walks up to what you know is a priest. He says, I can tell you what you do works for a long time. And the priest stops and is startled and looks around to see the two of you there.
I'll nod my head to him.
And there is the guy catches on faster than you'd expect. He's possibly more used to the idea than you are that people can be outside of their bodies. That the body and the mind aren't the same thing.
Okay.
And he will discuss with you and Bandari what he knows of this spell that you've learned, and what it takes to actually power it. And he tells you that what he's doing is harnessing the power and belief of an entire nation. The Pharaoh has set his people to containing the dark god that he overthrew.
Okay.
Do you feel like that's something that you can do?
I don't know, but no one ever got anything done without trying.
He tells you there is another method. The sigil, and he shows you the design of the eye, which you already know, has to be worked into a hard, natural substance. I'm using granite. It must be fixed on a high place in the area to be warded. It must be created in the afternoon before the full moon rises. And at moonrise, the blood of an innocent must be used to fill the pupil of the eye once per hour until the dawn.
I don't know how much I like the blood magic, but
You must use something to power it. And everyone participating in the spell, everyone will feel their strength drained.
how far does it reach?
He will. I don't actually know how ancient Egyptians measured distance outside of the Raiders of the Lost thing, which is like a foot. So, but he will tell you that if you do it as he's described, it will work for about 10 miles.
All right. All right.
A 10-mile radius, so 20 miles across.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's a good distance.
He will also tell you that it is, once constructed, it is extremely difficult to break the spell. Even calculating how to break the spell would take many years.
I come from a time when it has been broken.
He'll ask you if you know how long.
Three, 4,000 years, I don't know. Probably longer.
He says that is about as long as Egypt has existed. That's significant. That the work I'm doing is
It's
worth
a long
it.
time. It is. And unfortunately, the thing that you sealed up is not the worst thing we have to worry about.
The Black Pharaoh. There's worse than that in the world.
I don't think either of us really want to know that.
Yes, I suppose I'll focus on the dangers in my own time.
What you've done works for a very, very long time. And as much as folks around me don't much know about it, it is appreciated.
Do you have any other questions for him?
Well, I know the exact ritual to seal the thing away now, so I don't believe so.
Yeah, you pretty much do. Then Bundari will thank the man for his. Well, his name is Kefra. It didn't become important, but that's who he is.
Yeah.
And he will take you by the hand, and he will lead you back home.
Okay.
I am going to put this spell on you.
Yay!
James and Bertie both already had a version of this spell. Getting all the details is pretty important to making it work, though. So this is a different version.
One version, I assume, is just very, very lightweight and temporary.
Yeah, the Grand Ward.
Yeah.
It's very useful for rewarding yourself against immediate attack, but it's not a long-term solution.
Yeah.
And the two others will see you both start to breathe.
Gunner slowly lifts his hand off his gun.
Bundari, when his limbs are moving around again, will turn to Verdi and say, "You did very well for your first time."
She's just gonna take a moment to, like, take stock of how she feels. Like, does she feel hungover at all? Does she feel like she just had a very hard nap?
You were taken care of while you were away. Okomu, Connor and James can tell you, Okomu was putting water in both of your mouths. Every so often. Connor, you might have had to massage her lips for her. You might not have let Okomu do it. But he made sure that your bodies didn't go stiff and that you were taken care of. And so, no, when you come out of it, you feel okay. If someone was not taking care of you and you did this, you would feel very differently.
Okay.
I want you to increase both your psychometry and your Cthulhu Mythos by a D10 roll.
Ooh. Alright, that one was from my psychometry.
Nice. You're getting really good at it.
Mm-hmm. And Cthulhu Mythos. Alright.
I'll tell you, the god itself inhabits the Mountain of the Black Wind. And the greatest of spells that I've cast against it have had no effect. This might be the only thing that can bind it.
Well, I suppose we should get to work then, shouldn't we?
Others know the mountain is not Satima, and he will get a piece of paper and he's going to draw a map to the mountain.
All right. When's the next full moon?
That's a good question. Let me check our map. No, not our map, our calendar. It is the last quarter of the moon. It looks like the new moon is in a week.
Okay. So we have about a month before we can get this done. Given how quickly things move, I'm going to say that we still need to get rid of that priestess.
The next yeah, you've got 3 weeks. It will be.
Yeah.
It is currently the 16th of May, and it is on the 6th of June that the next full moon.
Okay. Other two are probably looking at us talking like, the hell is going on? Just come back talking about spells.
Yeah, just waiting and like, come on.
Alright.
Yeah, you and James talked about this spell pretty extensively before, so if you're talking about it in any detail, then it's filling in some blanks for him.
Mm-hmm. And I will absolutely explain, like, what happened and what we need to do and everything involved in it. This does also mean we're going to need a volunteer who doesn't mind donating a little bit of blood. Because I don't think... Well, James, you might be kind of innocent, but with things we've seen...
He says, no one with you is innocent. This must be someone who is innocent to the way of the world, someone who knows nothing about the secrets behind the world, the secrets that we know.
All right.
In other words, it has to be somebody
Child?
who has no Cthulhu Mythos rating.
So like a child.
There are many adults who know nothing of the way the world works.
Fair enough.
But it's...
I rather wish we were still some of them.
Agreed.
Unfortunately, sometimes sacrifices must be made to protect most people.
All right. So we are going to need a volunteer who is,
Who will not understand what they're volunteering for or why. Yes.
all right.
Unless he is not making fun of you when he says this, unless you can think of a way to get A nation of people to pray for the same thing that you're trying to accomplish.
I can hardly get two people in the same room to agree on one thing.
I find that difficult to believe.
Now I'm damned if I do agree with her or not.
Oh,
Connor
shush.
says out loud.
If you seekers have courage, you may achieve much, but you must hurry. Komu can help you make arrangements, but I have gifts for you.
You've already given me quite a bit.
Gifts?
He's going to go over to that arrangement of, well, like the whole wall has masks and other magical equipment lined up along it. But he's going to take down a fly whisk and a lizard in a cage. If you hover over him, you'll see an image of Bandara. You'll see the little lizard in the cage.
Alright.
What in the world is that?
This is my friend, who is not what she seems. The way he says it, you can tell that's her name. I found her in a faraway place. I call her Who for short. Take her with you.
Who?
Feed her well and daily with flies. If you need her service, open her cage and free her. But flee. And do not let her out until you reach the mountain of the Black Wind, when you're in need of a friend.
All right.
Alright.
It's an awful powerful friend.
If you find it necessary, you will find out. But I caution you, feed her well.
How many flies a day do we need?
I would feed her enough so that she's satisfied.
Always love vague instructions. All right.
And again, do not open this cage unless you're in need of a friend, and then flee.
All right. Understood.
Who takes the fly whisk? Who takes the cage?
I'll
Connor
take
will.
cage.
Okay.
Alright, there's not an item for the cage. You just need to make a note for yourself or write it down somewhere. Who's taking the fly whisk?
So it'd probably be Connor. Just because I would see you guys being more together, so it's easier, guys.
You say that, but every time something gets a little wild, I instantly.
We are a team. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but then there was a train. I was by myself for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. We thought you'd be all right. We thought you'd be all right on a train, and we were wrong.
Connor, I'm putting the fly whisk on you.
Mm-hmm.
And he will explain to you that it can find and it can resist evil. It looks a little bit like a little whisk broom.
Huh.
send him a picture of what those look like.
And here are what will be your notes on what you were told.
Strange. Gunnar is somewhat very confused by this whole situation.
Bandari will tell you if you have any more questions, you can come back and talk to him. And Birdie, if you survive this whole thing and you want to learn more, come back.
I'd be delighted to. And if by any chance we do not require the assistance of who, I will be returning her to you anyway.
That would be fair. But I will leave the decision in your hands because you might find that you have need of protection in other places as well.
All right. Okay. Okay, we have a plan.
Holding the thing, at first glance, this looks like a chameleon, right?
Mm.
But when you're actually holding the cage and you're looking at it, there are 3 horns sticking out of its forehead. Its mouth is on the vertical axis instead of horizontal. And its forelimbs divide into 2 at the elbow joint. So that each forelimb has 2 feet.
I'm just gonna hold her up and peer at her a little bit more closely.
Yeah, she looks right back at you. Tongue flicks out of her mouth lazily.
All right. How would we use that one? Birdie will ask about the fly whisk.
For protection, you must hold it. And if you... He picks it up. He starts moving it around like a divining rod. He says, if you are in the presence of great evil, but cannot tell where it is, this will help you find it.
All right. That'll be useful.
In game terms, Connor, if you make it a power check, whether it's opposed or protect yourself in any way, you'll get a bonus die as long as you're holding this.
Hey.
Okay.
Magic +1.
Let's go.
Yeah, and for the first time, you've gotten magical equipment from somebody who, at least on the surface, is not evil.
Right?
Yeah, it's not magic equipment that we got from someone that
You have a bunch of magical equipment sitting back in your hotel that you seem nervous to use.
I mean,
James has something too, but he hasn't told the rest of you about it, so.
Yeah. He hasn't talked about it hardly at all.
looks like Bandari is preparing to leave again.
All right.
I'm just going to take his hands and squeeze them. Thank you.
He squeezes back, and he says, "If you're successful, the rest of us will be thanking you."
It'd be nice not to have to run from the police again.
There are no police where you'll be going here.
Thank God for that. All right. Let's
Yeah.
get moving.
Okomu will guide you out of the hut again. You emerge. It's kind of jarring coming out of the hut where it's nice and cool into the suddenly hot and dry air. And everyone except Birdie, as soon as you emerge from the hut, you find the stinging insects are back. They were absent from the hut, but they're all over you again.
Except for me.
Except for you. You're fine. Okomu...
Astral projection is the best insect repellent.
Okomu will walk you back over to your car and ask you, "What? My master told me to assist you in any way that I can. What do you need?"
Can you arrange for someone willing to take us to the mountain? He has a map for us, but I think all of us would prefer a guide.
There is a man at Charles Street in Swahili Town. If you seek out Sam Mariga and tell him that I sent you, he will be your guide.
All right.
This is not
Either
an
of you
easy
have any
journey.
questions?
This will take you some time marching through the brush in the jungle.
All right. I guess that safari's going to be a little longer than we thought.
The man who guided you out here doesn't reappear. Komu tells you that he has some other business in town he will be staying, but he asks Connor if you could please return the car to where you acquired it from.
Connor nods.
We'll take good care of it.
Appreciate it. It is the only easy communication that we in this village have with a larger city.
All right.
He wishes you well, and just as Bandari did, Okomu tells you if you need anything, you only need to come back and ask, and he will do his best to help.
I hope that we don't need to ask, but we appreciate it. All right. We've got a seance to get to.
That's right.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah. Is that the next thing you want to do then?
I think so.
Then we can go directly there. Connor, you made your navigation roll earlier,
Yeah.
so you remember.
So
the
he
way
knows
to get
his
back.
way back.
Yeah. The rest of you can be suitably impressed at how Connor remembers not just the way back from the jungle. Which, I mean, there is a dirt road most of the time, but not all the time. But also, once you arrive back in town, he's driving between all of these on these narrow alleyways. There's people are not used to cars being in these alleyways, so it's constantly stopping and letting people go by, and then driving for a few feet and then stopping. But you make it back.
I don't need to be impressed. I know what he can do.
And just putting you all in your spaces. When you arrive back at the Nairobi Star Press office, it is dark. There are just candles lighting the area.
Ooh.
There we go. And Natalie will guide you. She answers your knock at the door, holding a candle in her hand. She says, "We must be quiet. It's important that we don't disturb the spirits."
Going from that last place straight into this one.
Yes, it's a weird back-to-back, isn't it? Sometimes things just light up that way.
This feels instantly way more hokey.
It definitely does. Whether she possesses the ability to pierce the spirit world or not, it is very clear she understands it less well than Bandari does.
Yup. Birdie is biting the inside of her cheek, trying not to laugh at this setup because it's great mood lighting. It's absolutely fantastic setup, but it is so over the top.
Oh, it's ridiculous. She is trying so hard to impress you with how impressive this is.
I do have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Don't see James on the board.
Yeah, me neither.
That's weird. Oh, that's why. I think I made you invisible for some reason.
He is not the ghost we're trying to talk to tonight.
No. I couldn't say why I made you invisible, but I did.
He's a ghost.
Ooh, spooky.
So she invites you to think on the questions you wish to ask the spirit, and any unfinished business you have with them. And she has you sit down around this table, which we'll pretend is a little shorter so that you can all link hands around it.
Okay.
And I just jumped from the page I was on. There we go. She starts calling out. Have any of you sat through seances before?
No.
Us the characters or us the players?
The characters. I don't need to know if you've ever
It-
played with
it's
a Ouija
no
board or
for-
something.
Birdie probably has been to a couple of seances, but nothing really came of them.
So, despite that, the patter is familiar. She begins calling out, "Oh, spirits, we invite you in here with us. Spirits, we wish to hear your unfinished business. There are those among us who love you and want to know what you still need to accomplish. People who wish to express their affection for you. And while she does this, the room does start getting chillier.
All right.
And she makes a successful roll.
Hey.
And you're going to feel the table shudder under your hands. Which, Birdie, that happened at those other seances you were at too. It did not amount to anything. You see cheesecloth start to exude from her mouth and kind of spread out across the table and around the room. And to be honest, you thought she was better than this. You thought maybe she believed in all of this, but wasn't going to try to trick you like some other psychics do. But then it runs across your hand, and you realize that's not cloth. There's some sort of substance emerging from her as she speaks. And it extends out across the table and out past each of you. And then behind her, you see a shadowy figure emerge.
Hey, he's back.
And not in her own voice, in the voice of your friend Jonathan Hammer, she says, "Si un hombre no se levanta el sombrero ante el seguramente el delfín."
Could I try to understand what he just said?
Do you speak Spanish?
No, but funny enough, I have insane language.
You can try.
I have a 4 in Spanish.
Roll it. Yeah, I'm afraid, Birdie, you can't make it out.
Birdie's
You
just
gotta
like,
remember, how do I gotta roll this again? I just roll,
You roll against a 75. So you can just roll a D100.
I have French that is 75 for some reason. I don't remember
works.
when I had that.
That works just fine.
So I'm just gonna use that.
That's probably from the last time you used it when you were reading a book. Okay. Yeah, so he just said if a man won't raise his hat to you, he's probably a dolphin.
excuse me? That doesn't clear anything up.
Do you want
chuckle and say it's good to see you, Johnny.
They're among you with their pretty yellow nooses. You can roll history if you want to. They are among you with their pretty yellow nooses.
I will roll history on that.
Yeah. You have read his books then. This is a reference to his work on the Thuggee cults of India.
Okay.
I'm thinking about it, that other statement, he had something about an Amazonian legend of shape-shifting dolphins. In a book he wrote on South America. In fact, the one he wrote based on your adventure.
Okay.
It never stops once it's started. And it never works. Not ever. I can see that now.
some things do work.
You can see him struggling to make sense of what you said to him. Looks like it's been a while since anybody spoke to him.
Do you remember us, Hammer?
Worms. Remember worms. You were there with the worms.
Yeah, we were.
We succeeded then.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was some success. Birdie.
There you are, friend.
I didn't make it easy for you, did I?
No, you did not.
But you're still alive. That's something. Where are you?
We've gotten farther than we think we should be. We're in, oh crap, what's this place called again?
You're in Kenya.
In Kenya.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're in Kenya.
Beware the bloody tongue. They're everywhere. They got me in New York,
Yeah.
didn't they?
They did,
They did.
unfortunately.
Connor,
Yep.
you murdered them, didn't you?
Connor just smiles.
Thanks for that.
My pleasure.
What can I do?
Well, we've made some progress figuring out what you found, but we've still got a few holes. We saw James's father in Egypt.
You weren't wrong about them being alive, but it's not them. It's their bodies, but not them.
Sorry. I hope for better than that.
That's the thought that counted. I just hope I actually get to put them to rest for once. And their bodies shouldn't continue being in this world with them not here.
If something else is in their bodies now, be very careful of it. I don't know how old it must be. It's strange. I don't. Used to have a crick in my neck. I don't feel anything now. That part's not so bad.
You're... well, you're in the wrong body right now, so that's to be expected.
He holds his hand up and he puts his other hand through it. He says, I'm not sure that I am. Yeah,
I
you
wish
can
I
see,
could share a drink with you.
you can see the ectoplasm apparently emerging from her body, wrapping around the floor and forming his body.
Looks like we got a mess to clean later, but it's good to see you again, man.
I don't know how long this will work. I cannot tell you how many times I attended a seance when I was alive. They didn't work.
Right?
So
They don't usually.
it's good to see
I'm
all of
glad.
you as well, but if you have something you need from me, let's get to it.
Okay.
Alright.
I'm gonna tell you the bad first. I ended up making a deal with Nyarlathotep, and the I can't remember her name again. The Dark Queen is walking the earth again.
The mummy. The priest.
Yes.
Yes. The priest. Are you a priest?
I have been called one. Yes.
Yes. You know they don't like each. Well, it's not that so much. They don't always agree with each other. There's
So we've
there are
been learning.
so many of them, and they're all that Nyarlathotep guy, but he doesn't care who succeeds.
They're just setting everybody against each other.
There's a conjunction. He has something planned to wipe us off the earth. Make it livable for his kind. But only some of him. There are others that, if you prevent it, in 100 years another of his plans will come to fruition.
Yeah.
So if you're hesitant to accept help because you know it's coming from him, it's dangerous, but it might not be impossible.
Okay.
As for the good news, we met a fella out in the savannah who helped us learn. You know that symbol that was broken off the top of the pyramid?
Yes.
I know how to recreate it now.
Did you get inside the pyramid?
We did.
Regretfully.
Good job.
We've also unfortunately met the Black Pharaoh.
That's not so good. He shudders
did
while you're
piss him off.
talking, as though he's in pain for a moment, and then he shakes it off.
All right. What do we need to look for in Shanghai? If we're already in Kenya, is there anything we need to look for in Shanghai?
Jack Brady. I don't know what the man knows. I was in Shanghai before I was in Kenya, before I met Nelson. Nelson
All right.
didn't give me a whole lot of information to go on. He might give you more. But if you can find Jack Brady, he is the one man, I believe, alive who is not involved in the plot. Who knows what
I
happened.
already know from New York. No, not New York. London. That they are looking for him and are after him.
He will not be easy to find then. I
No.
never met the man, but from everything I've heard, he is extremely formidable.
He's, from what I've understood from their letters, talking to different, basically, what I would call a sects, like different cults, different groups. Yeah, he's been putting one hell of a fight against them.
He met Carlyle when he was on trial for murder. And Carlyle funded his defense. and he has been loyal ever since. So I don't know what must have happened to Carlisle for him to be acting against what apparently is the plot, but we might be able to leverage that. We can figure it out. And then he says, "No, you can't. There's nothing you can do. What do you want? Why are you here?"
To try and put an end to this.
There's no end. There's no end to me.
You. I see.
Had a fear.
We all relax on our chairs, like, oh crap.
The ectoplasm flowing out of her mouth begins to flow red instead of white.
Will you at least let us say goodbye to the man
There's nothing
before
to say.
you start up on this?
There's nothing to say goodbye to anymore. The man is dead. You could join him. I offered you other options, but this is the easiest one left to you.
I've never done things the easy way, you old bastard.
No? You want to do things the hard way?
Yeah. It feels like the right way.
Alright then. Good luck. And Natalie bursts into flames.
Oh!
Oh. I don't think we have any sand with us.
Nope. I immediately jump out of my chair. Is there like a drape over the window or anything?
Yeah, you can grab a drape from the window.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab it, wrap her in it, and start patting her down to put her out.
Okay. Let's see, what's a good roll for that? Maybe just Dex. To act quickly here. Okay. Yeah, you rip the curtains down off the wall. Hammer disappears while this is happening. And you fling the curtain over top of her and you start patting her. You roll around on the floor. Before long, the heat dies away. But when you open the curtain back up, she is like a spent torch.
And
Connor under his breath. Come on, like that was just uncalled for.
I know it's probably pointless, but I'm gonna go and just check to see if she's still.
Yeah, when you put your finger on her throat to feel for a pulse, there's actually pretty intense heat still coming out of her. You feel fat bubbling out of her neck and running down your fingers. Remember, the X card is there.
Mm-hmm.
That's
We're
an
good.
awful visualization, but I'm good.
James is just gonna shake his head to the rest of them.
And Connor, you seem to still be kind of looking around at the situation, not jumping into action immediately. Through that window where Birdie ripped the curtains down, you can see a sudden burst of flame. And then
Connor yells out, we got more fireballs.
yeah, burning through the wall. Let's see. There we go. Burning through the wall are a couple of those creatures you saw back on the train. flame. And at this point, we're going to jump into initiative.
Nice.
She is dead, so she doesn't need to be on here.
God.
Connor, as the room burns, as like the walls are catching on fire, what do you do?
Connor, already knowing what works with these and what doesn't, is starting to take off his jacket, and he is going to, while running forward, James, restroom, dives and wraps the first one in his jacket and tries to pin it against the wall or jump out the window with it.
Okay. That is fighting brawl for a combat maneuver.
Yep. Alright, combat. Or that's skill. Is that combat? Yeah, I just roll fists, or
Yeah, just
to make
fists is
the
fine.
opposed. Okay. Aha!
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna spin the 4 luck.
Okay. It doesn't have a dodge skill apparently.
Oh.
I mean, it's fire. Why would you ask fire to dodge?
Okay. We'll just count your fist damage as though you're smothering it with your coat, so you can roll
Jacket.
damage
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
I'm assuming this is like a heavy-duty safari coat.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, you'll shove it back out through the wall, like you said, and you've
Yeah.
got it wrestling out here in the street. I'm not going to drop it on the map, but you see the same cloaked figure that you saw on the train, kind of standing off in the amidst the trees across the street.
And Connor has it like pinned down, and he looks at him and says, "You're next." In the distance.
And then I guess it acts. It is on the ground. It is trying to burn its way up to you.
Okay. Here.
Oh, I didn't actually roll my initiative.
Oh yeah, you can.
Should probably actually do that.
There, now you're all on there.
But how do you roll that?
You don't actually. It's just I need to press the right button to enter your dexterity.
Ah.
We can, if you
No.
ever want to, switch to the alternate method of initiative where you roll for success level every round.
Yeah. And I'm being dumb and fighting back.
Okay. So it is going to manage to damage you.
Yeah.
Burning, your coat is still on it. You're still,
Yeah.
but the heat coming
Yeah.
through the coat, like you are literally wrestling fire to the ground with your coat. So through that, you're going to be burned for 5 damage on your hands. James?
Pretty sure I just heard Connor tell me to go to the restroom.
Now,
Probably to grab water.
so the thing is, there's not. I know it's on the map here. There's probably not so much restrooms,
Probably not.
but there
So I
would
will
be pitchers of water around the office.
Then I will grab the pitcher of water.
All right.
And
Will you fling it, or will you try to wrestle this thing to the ground and pour it down its throat?
These things are fighters, so like me winning a
I'll
fist-to-fist
try-
fight against it.
I'll try throwing it at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just throwing that out there, man. Like fighting it barehanded like I'm doing is a very dumb idea.
Yeah. I gotta remember what do I gotta roll? Throw?
Yeah, just throw. It should be under fighting. You don't need to do it on the combat tab. You can just roll throw.
Ooh.
Alright. Can you think of a way to push this? Or do you want to just, you would have to put yourself at greater risk in order to do this. I'm not sure if you're really supposed to do this during combat, but I'm willing to let it if you're willing to put yourself at risk.
Yeah, instead of throwing it at a safe distance, I'm actually gonna get a lot. I'm gonna try and get closer to its to the flames.
Okay. So if you
A little
fail,
uncomfortable.
if you fail, there's a good chance you're going to get burned.
All right.
Go ahead and push. Okay. Let's do this. It is going to get a free attack at you.
It's fighting Connor.
Oh, sorry. Let me delete that. I think I've just made Connor target it, but that's fine.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
You can choose to dodge or you can choose to fight back.
Try and choose to dodge.
Alright. Good job. Yeah, you run up, I don't know exactly what happens. Like, maybe Birdie watching you doesn't even know what happens, but like you run up, you try to fling the pitcher of water on it, you kind of slip and trip over the... Apparently that ectoplasm didn't all go away when she died. And the fire leaps at you, but you kind of slip onto the floor and slide under it and bump into the wall.
Should we all swap positions then?
Yeah, let's do that. And Birdie, you're next.
Alright. First question. Is the building actually on fire?
Yes.
Okay.
Not much of it yet, but they burned through the walls to get in here. It was much easier than burning through the metal train.
Yep. Okay. Birdie is going to abandon Natalie's corpse.
Mm-hmm.
Head through the same place where Connor pushed the other fire demon out and just say, "Let the building burn!" And she's going to chase after the guy who summoned the damn things, pulling her gun out in the process.
Okay, that's exciting. Real quick, before we move on, let's get some sanity checks for seeing the psychic burst into flames.
Mm.
And then we'll move to a chase.
None of us were drunk enough for this.
Ooh.
Hey.
Oh, I hit the wrong button. I rolled it off of my sheet instead of off of.
You succeeded,
request.
so you're going to take 1 point of sanity loss.
Alright.
Unfortunately, James is going to take considerably more. James, you need to make an intelligence check now, which you should be able to do from the chat window still. Okay.
Of course, I remember everything.
Well, yeah, you rolled a 90. You had a 90 to fail. Like,
You have
that's the
become
curse of intelligence.
an attention-seeking maniac for 9 rounds, prone to foolhardy acts.
Let the building burn!
How do you react to that when she says, "Let the building burn"?
No, I can still save it!
So the fire demon is going to... Actually, it's going to pursue Birdie. It might be that the figure controlling them noticed that you're pursuing it. Are you going to dodge? Fight back?
I'm absolutely going to be dodging.
Okay.
Serpentine.
Serpentine. Okay, you say
Ooh.
serpentine.
You zigged when you should have zagged.
Oh. Yep. I ran right into him.
Yeah, you are going to feel like... What are you wearing?
Relatively lightweight clothing for the
Mhm.
heat.
So-
So like a nice short sleeve Survari shirt, knee length skirt, all that good shit.
Then there's not going to be a whole lot of protection as the fire like hits you in the back, like a physical force, hard enough to knock you to the ground. Do you feel the skin on your back crisp up?
Oh.
Connor, you went before this thing, so I'm going to let you do it again.
Okay.
But you can see right behind you, like Birdie jumped out, and then Birdie, I assume you scream.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Blood curdling scream. Not going to emulate it because I don't want to blow anyone's eardrums out.
No, I appreciate that. That's a good decision.
Yeah. In that
also,
instant,
I don't want to scare the hell out of my folks.
yeah. Yeah, Connor looks over, sees Birdie's getting burned, lets go of his coat, and just tries to scoop up a fistful of dirt and shove it down this thing's throat.
I'll allow that. That's a good idea. That's fun.
Like, he's going kind of barbaric range. Wait, I targeted the wrong one.
Yeah, you gotta kill this thing.
Well, I'm gonna kill it.
Oh, you... Got luck you want to spend?
No, I do not have
Oh.
that much luck to spend.
God.
Okay, Connor. Yeah. You leap into it.
Oh no.
The fire is too much. Like, you know when you're in burning heat and you can feel it searing your lungs and you feel like you can't breathe? That happens so quick and so hard that you pass out.
Ooh.
This is where we die.
Wouldn't
Connor's gonna be carrying a gallon jug of water for the rest of the campaign.
Birdie, you got 2 of them on you now.
Stop, drop, and roll. Dodging again. Hey, this time it'll work.
Okay. Apparently, Birdie is vulnerable to fire.
She is extremely flammable.
Is James just really good against fire?
Well, if we can find out, you seem to be sure that you are right now.
Haven't been burnt once.
God.
Good lord, Birdie's tough, though. You've taken
Right?
24 points of damage. You're still
That is
standing just fine.
standing. That 95
I'm
side.
still up. I'm still up.
So 24 and you're still standing?
Yeah.
Yup.
That would kill me.
She is a shit brick house, man.
I am a damn tank.
What do you got for me, James?
I have two plans right now.
Mm-hmm.
One is pull a Connor. The other one is I gotta remember, how does my my pendant work again?
Cats like you.
Cats like, oh, I thought there was
That's pretty
something
much it.
else that I could also do with it. I just couldn't remember if there was or wasn't.
Yeah, no, it's... Let's see.
I couldn't remember if I was able to request for like help.
I don't see anything on here about it, but you can certainly try. Let's see. You're not religious. At least nothing that I've ever heard of. There's occult and Cthulhu mythos are both things that could potentially be used for that. Is there anything else that you think you might be able to use for that?
There is.
Okay.
Then if I can't do anything with that, then no, I'm gonna pull a Connor quick and just take off my jacket, and I'm going to try and cover both of them as best as I can.
You're trying to cover the fire demons?
Mm-hmm.
I think that your curse of bravado would apply to that. Like, you can... It's certainly arguable that you would try that, so... let's have you make a check against both of them.
So wait for me to mark both, or do I have to do it each individually?
Should be able to just hover over it and hit T.
It only seems to be letting me do one or the other.
Okay. Well, just roll it once, and I will...
Oh,
apply
there
it
we
to
go.
both.
I have to hold shift and do that.
Okay, cool.
Hey.
Now, what are we talking here? Brawl?
It is generally brawl to wrestle something.
I did that wrong.
Did you?
I did. I didn't do it through
Oh.
combat.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to try that again or just continue with this.
Can you think of a way to put yourself in more danger to push it?
Lay on top of them.
You're gonna try... Okay. That's certainly putting yourself in more danger. Go ahead and push it.
And
We
I'm
are
actually going to go and click the melee skill this time.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, you will leap on top of both of them. Go ahead and roll your fist damage.
I don't know why it didn't pop up the way I needed it to.
It looks like you still just rolled a brawl check. You need to use the fist, not the fighting on the... Yeah, that's what it is.
That's why I did it wrong. Gotcha.
You don't have a damage bonus, so it's just D3. Okay. Now here's where you're lucky. These things are not very tough. So with that, yeah, you're
This
going
just only fuels me more, saying I'm the best.
It does. You collapse on top of the two of them and put them out. The building itself is still on fire. Birdie, you're going to notice, like, in the dark, it immediately is very difficult to see that cloaked figure across the street. And you know that Connor is unconscious, and you are extremely badly burned. So as James...
Tears streaming down her face.
Oh, yeah. Like, this is going to take so much aloe vera.
Oh.
So as James is wrestling and putting out the last few strains of fire from those demons, what do you do?
I'm still gonna try to shoot at him. I'm not gonna try to actually go after him at this point, but I'm going to try to shoot him still.
Okay. It is going... You're fairly close. I would say it's point blank, but it's in the dark, so they're going to negate each other. Just make a straight shooting check.
Okay. I can't target him, but...
No, you can just roll your skill.
Okay. Not the combat skill, just the regular skill?
Either way. You can roll your gun to yeah, so you're gonna hit. And what's your gun damage?
Gun is 1d6.
Roll it. Alright. So that is not going to kill the figure, but you're going to hear a feminine curse. And then, as the, like, in the dancing flames, you're going to, like, the flames are bright one moment, you see the figure, they go dark, they light up again, you don't see it anymore. You can hear people yelling. There's been gunshots, there's a fire here. It's clear
James,
that...
help me get Connor away from the building.
Of course. I got you both.
God.
Alright. Yeah, James, like, you've never seen him like this.
Adrenaline, everything is pumping through me.
How do you...
I can feel the stars.
So you grab Connor. Do you insist on grabbing Bernie, or can she get away from you?
She's like struggling to her feet.
I will
just-
I will help her up first, and then I'll go just fully like carry, kind of drag Connor away from the building.
Mm-hmm.
Just get us away from the flames.
Yep.
Within a few minutes, yeah, you get Connor across the street. You can see that he's breathing, but kind of struggling for air. Within a few minutes, there are people rushing down here. They do have a fire brigade. It is going to be just people with buckets getting, like, passing it along from a well, but that's what they have.
Yep. And glad I got some medical supplies.
Yes, you did.
I will start using that
Ooh, one last thing. Can I kind of rewind a little bit before we got away from the building? Can I have thrown like a bottle of booze in there to make sure that that room particularly does burn? Because it is not going to look good for us if there's just a fire and a lady burned to a crisp in there.
You can before the fire brigade makes it here. You can pull out your flask and throw it into the room if you're willing to lose that for a flask.
I'll lose the flask.
Wow. So you throw an accelerant into the room, and
Could not be me.
yeah, the news office begins to really burn up.
And she starts to flop back onto her back and immediately just, oh, bad move, bad move. Rolls onto her stomach and is just lying there, like, shaking in pain.
The fire brigade begins with just people from the neighborhood working to, save their neighborhood. Within about 15 minutes, it is taken over by soldiers who show up and are moving very professionally to put out the fire and protect the surrounding buildings. James, you can go ahead and work on your comrades while this is all going on.
Leave it up to you.
I'm very hurt.
Alright.
Wake him up first.
I'm gonna actually leave him passed out because he might freak out more if you're in pain while I'm working on you.
He's having a hard time breathing. If he dies...
Won't happen under my watch. But I need to take care of you first.
Alright. If I had taken one more hit, I probably would have gone down. I had 9 hit points.
The first time you got hit, it rolled a critical success, so it was just max damage. But the second time, it just happened to roll max damage.
Yep.
Yeah.
I am a damn tank.
I'm
Yes, you
going
are.
to roll first aid.
Yeah, roll your first aid. Okay, Bernie, as he's working
I'm
on your
going
back,
to push this. It's gonna hurt.
so you feel that your shirt has actually combined with some of the flesh of your back. It is burned into
His
you.
action. Oof.
And when he's pushing, he is trying to remove it.
I'm going to rip off part of my sleeve, and I'm going to fold it up and say, you're going to want to bite into this.
All right.
As I will go and try it again.
Okay. So yeah, intense pain. But your shirt does separate from your back, and you can heal for D4.
Screaming again.
And James, you can work on Connor, who is breathing shallowly, and you can hear it's like he's snoring. He's
I'm
struggling.
going to try and
for
wake
air.
him up. Try and wake him up. Try and,
I'm going to do the out with the bad air, in with the good.
yeah. What should I do in order to try and do that?
You might have smelling
Good.
salts, potentially. Or the old style, before we invented CPR, was like you put him on his back and you grab his legs and you push him up against his chest and then pull them back and then push him up again. It was not very effective, but it was the best they'd thought of.
Should I try that as like a
It's going to be a first aid roll either way.
still be a first aid? All right.
Yeah, we're just flavoring what you're doing.
Then yeah, I'll try doing it with the legs and trying to get him up. If not, I will grab the worst smelling salt I have and shove that in his face.
Okay.
And you said I roll the d4 for how much I heal?
It doesn't matter who rolls it.
Okay, I'll do that.
Well,
Okay.
1.
And for Connor as well. So there is going to be questioning.
still one for Connor. Okay.
Yeah, so each of you heal by 1. But given that the two of you are extremely injured, you will be allowed to go for professional medical treatment before the police demand to know why you were in there and what happened. That can be next week.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
have a feeling that I'm going to be the one that's going to do a lot of the talking for that.
Yeah. Luckily, you get this little reprieve before you have to talk to them, because otherwise you'd still be in this bout of madness, and that could be bad.
And
You
tell
think
them
you
how
can hold me?
I soloed 2 of those flame creatures. You can't hold me.
I got 2 fire demons! And
Was
then
it the
they
fire
locked you up
demons
in
that set the
insane
building on
asylum.
fire?
Oh, poor Natalie.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's too bad she was an NPC. PCs live longer.
Only in this type. Only in pulp.
Pop Cthulhu.
Yes,
Or
you're
yeah,
correct.
pulp.
It's only in pulp. You would have
Like,
been.
in the actual game. Connor would have died. Birdie would have died.
Yeah. Which is fun in its own way, but for a long campaign like this, I think it's better if you survive for a while.
I'm just gonna
It'd be
throw it
sad
out
if
there.
James was all of a sudden just by himself.
Yeah. That wouldn't.
Oh.
That's the point at which we might end up not playing anymore, and I don't want that. So.
Alright.
This is where James takes over for his parents, hires a whole new crew to help him get the rest of this stuff done. It would have been very, very funny if we had a TPK here, though, because we just got a bunch of answers. We have a plan. We know what we need to do, and then we all die.
But good job, everybody. I had a good time with you tonight.
Good stuff.
Oh.
Birdie's totally not going to
Watching-
try to astral project herself back to talk to her grandma. Or to Hammer. Ooh, she could go back and talk to Hammer before he died.
You could potentially do that, yeah. It would probably not be easy.
Oh no, definitely not.
But yeah, I'm willing to get weird with it.
Hell yeah. You've unlocked time travel. Okay?
Potentially. You may have noticed that the skill he
In a
rolled
way.
for the time travel was not psychometry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it wasn't.
But
But
it doesn't mean...
still.
Yeah, it doesn't... Like, you know what it is now, so...
Yeah.
Now it's being able to recreate it by
Mhm.
yourself without some guidance.
Well, we'll have some guidance. Or I'll have some guidance eventually.
going to take us off the air. Does anybody want to say anything before we say goodnight?
Play with fire.
Apparently, yeah.
Remember,
Everybody be safe. This storm season is looking to be particularly violent and awful.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good night.